Okay, guys, so today I am joined by one of the most adorable actresses in existence. This is the great Meg Burley.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, and also joined by my co-host Greg Young as well. You know him by this stage. We don't need to give him any fanfare.
We know Greg, yeah.
And it's actually
Glad to be
I can
here.
I can actually remember how I first saw your work, Meg, because I think it was the act on this group, and I think it was a morning, and you'd posted your showreel like you were looking for feedback, and I watched. I think there was only two scenes on it at that point, but it was the one where you were playing the girl who was obsessed with France. That was just like I was like, oh, this girl is great.
Take me as your hostage.
T'emmener, mais t'es folle.
Permettez-moi.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah, Jenny. That was my first paid job actually.
Really?
That came up in my memories on my Instagram yesterday. That was 2 years ago now. And that was when I was living in Scotland. And yeah, it is a really random role. I think they said it was a black comedy. So it was like serious, but it was like an underlying humor underneath it that only like people would get like if you knew what the situation was. It was really odd. Basically, this girl wants to get that there's a robbery in a pub, but she actually fancies the guy who's like robbing the place. So she actually says, "I'll be your hostage." She goes, take me as your hostage," and everyone thinks she's absolutely mad. She's like, "No, but I really like him." It's really odd. It was great. It's my first paid job, and it was night shoots as well,
Really?
which makes you like delusional because you're like up all night and then half of the day, and then you sleep in the day, and then you. It's really weird, but it was good fun. I really enjoyed it.
Permettez-moi.
T'es complètement folle.
Oh, yeah, you ever noticed that when you're on a night shoot or when you've been on set for a while, it's like the sanity just goes, and it's just like it's the most random things that make you laugh. Because I was doing a film back in October, and it was a long night, and I wasn't being used to the very end of the night. So the crew who weren't being used were literally just like in what because it was filming in a house that they got an Airbnb of. So the crew were in one room of the house, and we were all ended up on this one big bed together, and we
Bed,
all
I
had our
heard.
socks off, and we were all just tickling each other's feet and just
What? Have I seen that? You have to send me a link.
I think there's a video I put on Instagram. I'll have to throw it in there. Sorry if I'm throwing everyone else under the bus.
Do it.
But yes, sorry. Yes, we'll go back to you anyway. So
No, I like talking about other people. This is really weird, but it's nice.
okay. So how did you? Because you're still quite new to the industry, aren't you?
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I think I'm probably like maybe 3 years in.
Yeah,
I'd
same.
say like training. No, hold on. How long was I in Scotland for? Let's work this out. So I did a course maybe 4.5 years ago when I was living. So I'm from Bournemouth area, and then I moved to Scotland for like 3.5 years, and then I came back down, which was last year. But I did a course at Bournemouth, like just an introduction course, probably about it must have been at least 4.5 years ago now. Just because I used to be so shy when I was younger, and then I like grew out of myself, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna give it a go, because when I was so shy in school, like we'd have drama classes,
Yeah.
and like I see all the other girls and guys get up, and I'd be like, I can't do that, I can't, like I'd be paralyzed by like I can't move. And then obviously as you get older, you grow up, and you're like, you know what? Why do I care? Like let's just go for it. So I just did an intro course at Bournemouth University, and then we moved to Scotland. And then the people that I met at the course down south were like, "Have you never done extra work before?" And I was like, "No, what's extra work?" They're like, "Oh, well, actually, it's supporting artists." I was like, "Okay."
I say background over here.
Background artist, yeah. And they're like, "Oh, it's great when you get fed, you get to sort of like watch the stars from a distance, you get to be on a real set." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So when I moved up to Scotland, I signed up, and that's how I ended up being an extra on Outlander. And that's how I got inspired to be an actress, because I literally was like, I was here, and if any of you guys watch Outlander, literally Sam Hewen was like there, and the director was like there, and I was like, okay, just listen, don't look, just listen. And it was just amazing watching them and listening to everything they said. Like Sam was only working at 80%, whatever that meant, and and he was just learning lines and just being really chill. And I was like, you know what, I can do that. I can bloody well do that. So then I did quite a bit of extra work, and I met a lot of actors doing that who told me about courses in Glasgow. And then that's how I ended up doing my first sort of like training as such, like part-time classes. But yeah, Outlander, like extra work, is how I got really inspired to do it. I was like, you know what, yeah, I can do it, because you get to see them even though people like say that extra work's rubbish or you shouldn't be doing it as an actor, you get to be on a real set, or like a full production, like fully funded, like amazing, like attention to detail. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You get to actually see real people working and what it's like.
Yeah, it's like it's a great experience on set anyway. Just even just to be there and kind of, because I mainly would do it because it is like a nice payday in between jobs. But it's like I think like Greg, both of us started out doing extra work before we did acting, didn't we?
Did you? What did you do?
We kind of did, yeah. And remember we both we did Winks on separate days, and that was a lot of fun. That was a good pay gig as well.
Yeah, that's the one Rob James Collier is in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was actually just a few feet away from me as well, and I was tempted to go up and say, "Oh, hey, we've spoken on the phone," but I was just like, "I'll catch him the next time I'm called back to set," but I didn't get called back to set again. So.
Oh no.
Oh, well.
Greg actually has a fantastic story involving horses as an extra. You have to tell them.
Go ahead. Oh my god, let's hear.
Before Winks, it was his best paid extras gig.
Yeah, for a while it was, yeah. Yeah, sorry, you mentioned it there. So last year or last October, not the one gone, the one before then, there was someone I had worked with on an extras gig once, and we've been talking, and it was and we got on pretty well, and then randomly a few weeks later she texted me saying was I free on, I think the 13th of October it was. I said, yeah, well, what's up? And she said, oh yeah, we need someone like yourself to come down to run from a pair of horses in the scene, because they had this guy who over from another country to play this role, and he had already gone back at that stage, so they needed someone to stand in to run from horses in a previous scene that kind of looks like him, and yeah, so I came down to run from horses, and it was great fun.
So as in like you were running away from the horses.
Mm-hmm.
So you had horses cantering behind you and you had to run away from them.
Yeah, I had a bit of a head start, and
I was gonna say.
yeah, yeah, it did get a bit tiring after that. It was great fun.
Wow. I'm guessing like the guys riding the horses, were they like stuntmen or just general horse riders or what? What was the thing?
They were women actually, but they were
representation.
I think they worked on I think they worked on the farm with the horses, and they were experienced riders, and they were friends of the director. So
yeah, amazing.
Or
I remember
good
there was an extra job, the going, that was like had horse roles in it, and I was brought up with horses and I've ridden since forever. I don't ride anymore because it's just not my thing anymore. But and I remember you had to go to a horse boot camp, and I was like, what? To obviously prove that you could ride. But at the time I just signed up to like about, I don't know, 10 different extras agencies, and quite a few of them go into your junk mail. And I remember I got the first email, but the second email about boot camp went into my junk mail, and I was just, sometimes you just check your spam just in case. I literally had missed the calling date by like a day, and I was like emailing like, oh please can you let me in, like I can ride, like I can show you please, because it was really good pay just for riding a horse. And she's like, oh no, I'm so sorry, but the casting call's closed. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, like I grew up with horses. It'd be amazing to combine, even though I don't really like horses anymore, but to combine acting and horse riding, because I was like, it's my other skill that I grew up with. And I was like, I missed out.
Have you ever had to actually do it for a role? Because I'd say if you see the casting calls coming up, you can it's definitely a good way to kind of say like, I've been on horses, so I know what to do if you needed someone who could ride.
I haven't, no. It's obviously on my spotlight as my like skills, but it's, I think until things get like the ball gets rolling into like the next stage of what I want, which is probably like bigger funded projects or like independent films, where, because obviously animals are expensive and you need people to look after them and stuff. So, but I would literally love to combine the both, because it would just, the second thing that I'm good at is horse riding, but I don't do it anymore. Because it's like riding a bike for me. I can just get on a horse and just ride, and then it's just lucky that I feel natural at acting as well. So I literally would love to be in a western. Literally, it's like my dream, because it's like my mum, who has all the horses, we used to import them from America, so we had like contact with people who were quite like western sort of like Wild Wild West style, because my mum used to write Western as well, so like the saddles are a bit different and stuff, and she used to like buy Stetson hats and whatever. So as a child I was like, oh my god, America, I love America. So I'd literally love to be in like an old school Western with like a gun sling, like my little Stetson hat on, maybe a lasso as well.
I think her and Andy McNeil would get on pretty well. Don't you think, Bobby?
Because I actually have friends up in Belfast who because it's so great. I talk to my friends down here and they say, "Oh, I'd love to make a Western, but you couldn't make it over here." And I'm just like, "Well, actually, I have friends up in Belfast who make loads of Westerns."
What's it like in Belfast compared to where you are? Is the landscape different?
No, like we'd definitely be able to do it down here. I think it's just they just happen to live up there and they're nearby kind of some really kind of within driving distance there's national parks and everything, and there's good scenery. I think they know how to, they just happen to be really good filmmakers who know how to use like the low budget wisely, so it's just kind of inspiration saying like, yeah, we could easily do that down here.
Yeah.
I suppose when everyone thinks of a Western they think of a desert, and obviously we don't have them here, but like there's loads of other settings you could have, because like
yeah, you could.
Yeah. Yes. And back to you. Yes. And so, what were your first kind of roles like on set, or how did you kind of do you remember much of your first time on set as making the transition from supporting artist / background to actress or talent?
Yeah. So my first role was that
Frenchman,
actually, that's a lie. No, my first role ever was a student film, and I was called the Dead Girl. I literally, all I had to do was like dance in this club scene, and it was just like a sort of like a moving shot where it's like getting close to my eyes, and then I had to just be dead on the floor. And I was like, yay! So that was fun, but like I've got nothing against student films at all, but you learn very quickly the type of students that take it seriously and the ones who are just there to be at uni.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you get the ones who that's why I learned very quickly as well that first year and second, they're still not really sure what they're doing, and obviously we've all got to start somewhere, so I totally get that. But obviously as you progress and get better or get more serious and realize what you want to do, I try and now only go for masters when they do like, or MA when they do their like that they've come back to uni to do like a specialist or whatever, or I just do third year, because by that time that's their third or fourth final year. They know what they do, their storyboard's great, their script is great, and they're all working towards something that they want, rather than first and second years and they're all like they just don't know what they're doing, and it's like there's no time span on anything. They're like, oh yeah, actually can you come in tomorrow instead? I'm like, no, I can't, like you said today. But everyone's been really nice, and being on set, I mean, I did the Dead Girl, Jenny, the French one, that was an MA, that was a master's, that was amazing. Like,
I didn't realize that was a student film. I thought
that was a student. I know, right? It's really good quality, and it's a student film. So I hate it when people say on all these forums, don't work for free, like, you shouldn't, or don't work for anything less than this. Yes, I got paid for that, but I've done a shitload of free student stuff. Like, but I've had some, like, you see my show reel, like a lot of that I've done for free. Yeah, I think 2 of the things I've done in that show reel are paid or expenses. But like, I mean, how much does it cost to get a good show reel? And I mean a good show reel, not just 2 scenes, like at least 5 scenes, like little snippets, like Ross's show reel. That's how I inspire like my show reel to be. I wanted short little clips of like different things that I've done. The best that I've been on was Dweller.
Still haven't explained how you know so much, or how you found me.
These remind me of when I was a kid. Don't flatter yourself. I wasn't looking for you.
Yeah, that's my proudest one ever. That was in an underground bunker in Scotland, and it was amazing. It was so sci-fi, and I love sci-fi. Yeah. And I had like sort of like cool like sort of kick-ass girl gear on, and they made like we had like proper like set producer people, I don't want to call them like set designers, and they like made everything from scratch, like the kitchen and like the rooms that we went in, and the guns were made from scratch as well. It was amazing. I literally loved that. And the smoke machine, oh my god, the smoke machine was amazing.
Oh god, yeah. And it was a longer film as well, so there was a lot more to play with as well.
Yeah, there was just like 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, you mentioned you worked in Scotland for a while, and now you work in England now. So, what do you think was kind of the difference between working in Scotland and England? Would you say?
So I haven't actually had a chance to properly work down here yet. So when I moved back down, I was like, yes, buzzing. I'm 2 hours from London, amazing. I'm gonna be traveling all the time. But I'm really fussy with jobs that I like to have in between. So I moved back down June last year, and it took me a long time to find. Well, I was like in a little bit of debt, like just in my overdraft, because where I was like moving, not having a job, trying to find, like transitioning. I was in between. So I was like picking up little jobs here and there, but it wasn't quite. I was also trying to run a business at the same time, so I was trying to do too many things at once, and it just wasn't going the right way. Anyway, to answer your question, I don't really know yet because I moved back down. I didn't really find a job that suited me for ages until like probably November. So I couldn't afford to go to London back and forth because obviously the train and the petrol's quite expensive. And then I got this job, but it wasn't flexible enough. So then I was like, right, okay. So things started to pick up in January, and that was great. I went to probably, I think, Herefordshire, which is like just above London. And that was a student one again, and it was paid 200 a day, which I thought was amazing for a student film. I was like,
Brilliant.
see guys, what's wrong with student films? Nothing. And then that was good. And then I had another web series called Hey Siri, How Do You Set Up a Drug Business, which unfortunately I've actually been pushed out of because she's recasting. So I sent everyone an email, people that I was going to be working with, saying, hey, I hope you're doing well. You know, I'm not actually asking about the project. I want to know how you are, because if COVID hadn't have happened, we would have made some lovely memories by now. And she said, oh, I've actually sat down and had a think about who I want in my web series, and you all look really similar. There was 3 of us, and we all had curly hair. It was really weird. And she's like, I'm actually going to have to recast, so unfortunately you've lost the role. And I was like, oh, never mind. But it was going, to be honest, like I love Northerners, like Glaswegians are great, but I don't think I've had enough of a chance to be able to compare yet. I think there's more things going on socially that I've heard of. I actually haven't had the chance to actually, I haven't been able to get stuck in, because obviously then everything started happening with COVID, and I was like, oh, this is supposed to be my year, but never mind.
Yeah, I think in everyone's mind, 2020 was supposed to be like that year, and then it just went like.
Yeah. What have you been up to, Greg? What are you doing and stuff?
Well, before COVID, I was I'm in college. I'm a film student myself, actually, and I was working on I was meant to be working on a few projects in the time I had off, but after our first week off, like where we were meant to be working on our films, the lockdown was settled in, and we just had to cancel all of our shoots, and everything else was just fucking. Sorry, excuse my language. It was just. It was fucking shut down basically, and so. But in the meantime, I've been practicing music at home, and I've been. My friend Dean was making a film called Apocalypse Horizon, which is a COVID from home film. Me and Bobby both had a small bit in.
I'm the voice of his headphones.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I have been keeping preoccupied, thankfully.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, because we've I just remembered we filmed a scene together in quarantine as well, didn't we, Meg?
Girlfriends can be nice. You just had a bad one.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
That
Yes,
was the first one I did, yeah.
Yeah, that was great, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It just shows a testament to what a hard worker you are, because you set up the lights, you set up everything, and it looks so good. I was like, oh god, I can't make mine look this good.
I can't remember what I did. I don't think I did a backdrop. I just closed my curtains. That's what I was living at my mum's. And now, as you can see, I'm now living in a caravan because my boyfriend's renovating a bungalow. So we moved the caravan into the garden. and then I moved out of my mum's and moved into the caravan. I forgot we even did that, Bobby. Can we do another one?
Oh yeah, I think we talked about doing another one, but then just
There was that. So
Everything.
basically, like, you know how obsessed I am with Outlander and how I will be on season 7
Yeah.
in 2 years. That's my goal, that like everyone knows. So like I've joined a lot of Outlander groups, and like, you know, when Ross and Ollie were talking about building your audience, I did the social media course last year, and then I literally added like all the Outlander people on all these groups, and one of them asked me to join their book club and asked if I could do a scene from from the series with, well, basically she saw what me and Bobby did, and she's like, well, can you do that with an Outlander scene? I was like, yeah, of course. So she picked a scene, her and her book club picked a scene, but the scene is like mostly Claire, which would have been me talking, and I was like, that's not really fair on the other person. And also the scenes, like Claire's like hunched over, and Jamie, like the other character's like, he's just there, and it's quite like tactile, like they're really close. I was like, I don't really know how to do that when we're not in the same place. So I'm still trying to work out.
yeah, there's definitely doable, I'd say. Yeah.
I know. And also you need to work on your Scottish accent.
Oh yeah, I think we both do, don't we? Yeah.
Well, I don't, because Claire's not Scottish, she's English, so I'm fine.
That's funny because
I was meant to be in a production of Macbeth 2 years ago, and at first I thought we were just going to be doing like a straight period version, and so I just kind of started learning my lines in a Scottish accent, because some of us got to pick our parts from the start, so I knew what character I'd be playing. And then when we actually got around to doing it, they just decided it was going to be post-apocalyptic, so everyone was just using their own accents. So I was just like, it felt so weird saying the lines in my own voice. So now if I just need to go into Scottish accent, I just say my monologue from Macbeth.
Amazing. Or we could just pick, you literally like a film buff and I am not. So if you just pick a scene that's not Scottish and we can just do it, like a one that would be easy to film, and I'm definitely happy to do that again, because that was really fun.
Oh yeah, just like, because me and Greg did 2 scenes as well, because Greg picked one from Schindler's List and I picked one from 13 Reasons Why.
Hey, I haven't seen 13 Reasons Why. That's the Netflix series, isn't it?
yeah.
You actually look a bit like Katherine Langford, who plays Hannah.
All right, let's quickly look at her face. What does she look like? I get compared to quite a few actresses. I'm like, shit, there's like too many actors that look like me. What's her name? What?
Katherine Langford with a K.
Katherine Langford.
She's Australian.
Oh yeah, wait, no, I know. Yes, when 13 Reasons Why first came out, my friend Bronte in Scotland said, you look like the lead actress in 13 Reasons Why.
There you go.
Yeah, so yeah, I
Like
have
that.
had that one before.
Yeah, so, I'm sure hopefully that means that's a sign that you'll get your own Netflix series one day.
Oh my god, yes, I'd love to. There was another comparison the other day, I can't remember what it's called. Someone on my Instagram was like, oh, I thought this was you for a second, and then sent me like the trailer for this. I see if I can get it up, for this series. It looks freaking amazing, and it's
Is it a King Arthur sort of thing, a fantasy one?
I think it's a fantasy one. It's
It's
King
her.
Arthur.
It's the same actress.
Is it the same actress?
Yeah.
Oh,
I did the trailer for it yesterday.
Wait, what's it called? Hold on.
Oh, God,
It is called Cursed. It's called Cursed.
That's the one. Yeah, that's her.
That is her. Well, there you
What
go.
else that?
I didn't even recognise it was her. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I obviously look like a girl that could do kick-ass, like, slaying of swords and things and have powers.
Oh, yeah, because even I think once I started seeing more of your work anyway, I was like, Meg is really good, and I just kind of felt inspired to just like kind of start like writing characters for you, because I think you kind of just you have that you give off that vibe. You're like, oh yeah, there's so much potential here. Write more for her. And I don't write roles for everyone, but like there's some people I just go, yes, I just have to keep writing roles for them.
Oh, I remember reading that script that you sent me about. Oh God, I remember reading it on my lunch break one time. It was like when we first started talking, it was quite a long script, and I'm sure there's something magical in it. Something
Untold
happened.
Gold, I think.
Yeah, they're like old school friends, and she comes back. Yeah, that was a good script.
Yeah,
I actually sent. You remember we did the webinar with Jason Mazza? Yeah, I just a couple weeks ago I actually sent the script to him just as to pitch it. So,
I'd just like to ask, what kind of characters would you be drawn to playing? Would you say?
So I really, really want to do like not Lara Croft, but Lara Croft roles. So sort of like that girl, Katherine Langford in Cursed. So really strong women. I think not every girl does, but I think also it suits my body type. I'm not petite. I'm just under 5'8". I've got like broad shoulders. So for me to do like, you know, girly girl roles or like fashiony, it just won't suit me. Like I'd never get the role, not in a negative way, just obviously I'm taking in what I look like as a person and what I can be cast as. So I think doing like kick-ass roles where I'll be like, you know, sword fighting or even like I've got an audition set up like when everything lifts for a boxing role, which I think would really suit me because I mean I'm not quite athletic, but I could if I trained have an athletic body. I think it would really suit me, and I can have a bit of a bitch face as well, so I think having like a fighting face and like smashing someone's face in would suit me. So like sort of fantasy roles I'd love to, like I started chatting to what's her name, Sophie Howard Holland from The Witcher. She replied to my email, which I was like, oh my god. So something like in The Witcher, or I also love, I suppose it's opposite personality wise, because it's a different era, like period drama, so like Poldark, Outlander. But obviously in Outlander, even though she's not like a meek character who listens to what men say all the time, because she's from a different era herself, she's quite a strong woman as well. And the same in Poldark actually. Desmelda, I can't remember her name. She even though she's from that time, she's still quite a strong woman as well. She doesn't listen to what her husband says. She'll do her own thing. So maybe like a strong sort of know her own mind sort of period drama or fantasy would probably be my go-to. But I mean, there's a scene in my show reel that Bobby will know, where I'm like a chav. And you know that scene, yeah. And I basically got like a slapped bitch face, like, oh my god, my mum's like, that's what you look like when you're horrible to me. I'm like, don't say that, that's horrible.
That's the one where you're pushing the buggy, is it?
Pardon?
Is that the one where you're pushing the buggy in?
Yeah,
I've seen that one.
Sorry, what did you say?
Yes. I said yes.
Who was on the phone?
No one.
Yeah,
That was really well done.
so I'm quite good at that sort of thing as well. I just, when I first started acting, I don't know if it's the same with you Bobby, like everyone's like, oh, versatility is the worst thing, you've got to know your casting type. I literally hate that. Has anyone seen Florence Pugh? Hello, she's like done everything, and she's been working since she was 17 and now she's 24 and she's done everything. And like her story to where she got to where she was, you know, she did The Falling, which was her first ever film, which was by self-tape for the person who casts Peaky Blinders. I can't pronounce her name. And then she did Macbeth. Like, that's totally different. And then she did like Little Drummer Boy, and like now she's in freaking Marvel. Like, hello. Like, why? I don't get as well. Yeah, exactly. I don't get this casting type thing, and I don't think it should be a big thing. And I know that's how you should market yourself, but I really don't agree.
Yeah, because I even noticed for me, like the 3 years I've been in acting anyway, each year I got typecast as something different. Like 2017, I was always like the chavvy scumbag, and 2018 I was always I was always a soldier, and in last year I was doing a lot more kind of like more romantic roles. So I think it just,
you do suit being a soldier. That does suit you.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm happy to keep doing.
Yeah, I got like told quite a few times that I would suit being a nurse, which is fine. And one of the roles that one of the student films I did in January, that was a nurse role, which still hasn't been edited yet, which I'm like gutted. I really wanted it to be finished, which would be amazing. But like, I think if you're a good actor, I think you can do anything. Not anything, most things. Obviously, like I probably can't go. So like, let's take again Florence Pugh for example in Midsummer. If you've seen that, have you both seen it?
We have.
I don't think right now I could get to the places she got to in that film. I don't know if I could hysterically like scream and make it convincing. But I remember watching an interview with her, and she said someone would ask her, you know, how did you get to those places? And she said, oh, I just imagined all my family being in coffins. And I was like, I don't want to go to the place. Oh, like I don't think I could do that right now. I don't know if I would ever want to actually do that. But yeah, I don't like the whole casting type thing. It does my nut in. And every time I go to a casting director workshop, I'll ask in show reels, do you like to see a variety of different roles, or do you like it to be casting type? Like, let's pick 2 characters, like caring role, like nurses, teachers, whatever, and then like kick ass. And they're like, oh no, I actually quite like a bit of variety. I'm like, there you go. I'm actually asking someone who's in the industry, not someone who's advising me through the internet. Like, they're actually in the industry and they see actors day in, day out. So why is it always mixed messages? It does my head in.
Yeah, I think it could be that it could be easier, like at a stage like maybe for the first 2 years when you're starting off, where some people have an idea of where they can place you, but as you definitely progress in your career, like after a couple of years, I'd say that definitely going for a variety of things it's a great thing to do, like test yourself, try new things. That's always a beneficial thing to do.
Definitely.
And so
They're going to kick us out of here in about 5 minutes. So before we wrap up, what do you have any particular hopes for the future or what you'd like to achieve? Although I think I know one of the answers.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, if I spell it out, O-U-T. Outlander. So literally my goal is Outlander season 7, which should be about 2 years away if they confirm season 7. And it's for a role called Rachel Hunter. Now, obviously, that's a bit much for me to ask from the universe to be like, look, I want this specific role. I might not even have the chemistry, because obviously when you get that, because she has a lover in this season. She gets married and it's one of the main characters called young Ian. So I would have to have a chemistry test with him. So I might get so far, but I might not gel with, I think his name's John Bell. I might not gel with him, but I'm going to try really freaking hard to get to that spot. And when my friend's Hannah, I asked for advice the other day. It's like, should I actually let Suzanne Smith, the casting director for Outlander, know what I actually want? She goes, you've literally got nothing to lose. Yeah, just let her know how you can get on her radar. I was like, I know, but that just sounds so needy. But apart from that, that's obviously long term. Short term, I really would like to start getting involved in more independent, big budget indie films, where basically I think what I need now is a film that can get some traction on the festival set, then can win a few awards, and then gets noticed from like people higher in the chain, if you get me. That's what I need, but I'm just feeling a bit lost. I don't really know how to get there. So yeah, I'm just going to try and figure it out, and probably I quite like to have a chat with people maybe on Act on This community, or the social meetups that we have now online.
Yeah, but I think what you've been doing so far, I think that is, you do have the right attitude about it. You know, you've because I see you're constantly you work when you're in Scotland. You said you were constantly working and kind of putting yourself out there, and then obviously you had to take a little bit of a break when you were kind of sorting out the move back. But you know, now that you've settled back in, I just know you'll be ready to kind of like hustle again and just kind of create the work. And I have a feeling, you know, if you just do what you were doing before and just, you know, like build more roles, because you've been in good quality stuff.
I've seen those junkies. Would kill me for something like that.
So I just think, you know, it'll just kind of happen on its own if you just
I know. I just feel so like I was saying to you earlier, I actually feel really demotivated at the moment. Like everyone's like, oh, I'm doing this online, I'm doing this.
I feel the same.
And normally it was me that was like that, but at the moment I'm actually being really lazy, and I don't know why. Like I don't know why like all this motivation is just gone, and I just don't, apart from getting my ass in gear and now having one-to-one coaching with a lovely lady called Jude Alderson, that's the only thing that I've really done. I mean, I've tried to I'm finding it really hard to find casting calls. I don't know about you, Bobby. I'm finding it really hard. There's hardly anything on Backstage. There's hardly anything on Facebook. And normally it's me. I'm like the queen of finding casting calls. I look everywhere. Like I dig deep. And I find things that people come to me asking for. And at the moment, I literally am finding it so hard. And I'm just like, oh my God, I want to go back to the old Meg where I was doing everything all the time.
Well, I'm sure it's just, you know, because I go through that as well. I mean, everyone tells me I'm like, I always seem to be doing everything, but I have like loads of lazy periods or, you know, quiet periods where I just need to. I think it's something we need to do as actors, though, because it's very emotionally heavy what we do. We're kind of constantly setting ourselves up to potentially be like clobbered emotionally, and so I think sometimes that you do need to just retreat and just kind of look after you for a while, and then it's sort of like, oh, there's a great quote I heard. It says, a choir can sing a beautiful note effortlessly long because singers can drop individually out to breathe and the note goes on. So it's like we can just drop out to take a breath, get rest for a while, and then we come back in, and then we just. Oh yeah, but yeah. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd particularly like to say or promote or?
I don't think so. No. If anyone knows any Outlander people, that would be amazing.
Hashtag get Meg on Outlander.
Yeah, exactly. And even Ross knows that as well.
Thank you so much for coming on here, Meg. I was really excited to do this. You were the one of the people I said we have to get Meg on here at first. And it was great to have us all finally technically together at once before we can finally go over there and be together in person.
Yes! Oh my god, I totally planned to come over to Ireland this year. Well, obviously we were supposed to do that last year.
Yeah.
But then like jobs and stuff. But yeah, I definitely will be coming over this year for sure.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you guys. Stay safe.